week's episode of Pickles and Pasta with
Steph?
and Jay. Why do I always have to play Jay? All right, well, whatever. I'm playing Jay this week, and we'll see how it goes. I'm renegotiating my contract. I don't think this is fair.
I would love to see you play Steph.
You know what? I'd probably knock it out of the park. I gotta be honest.
Okay. We can give it a go.
I mean, I might need to work out a little bit more because you work out and I don't. But do I have to get on that vibrating thing too? I'm
Yes.
not doing that. No, you do. You know, I love it when you. I have to say, it's very distracting. It's not fair when you do it while I'm trying to get work done and you put the TV on and you do your vibrating thing and you're jiggling and everything. It's just not. It's fabulous, but it's not. It's just not fair. So
I
anyway,
miss my vibrating panel.
well, hopefully, you'll come back soon. It's getting a little lonely over here. But whatever. It's still here. I haven't thrown it out, so there's that.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. I'm getting promises forever and ever. I mean, the only forever and ever is that I'll always be forever and ever with you and make sure you're okay. But I can't guarantee that all your toys are going to be around forever and ever at some point.
That's okay. I'm sure I'll get sick of that thing at some point.
And I'm sure you'll buy another one at some point. So I'm not really worried about it. So
give me a good gadget that's good for my health. I'm all about it.
Go gadget. Yeah. Actually, so before we start on that topic, I'm not going to say what it is. I'm not going to plug anything because that's not our shtick per se. Although we are open to sponsors. If anybody's listening, say it. Just 1-800 sponsor Pickles and Podcast. But there is something that did somehow get in my feed somewhere recently. You'll see this applies. So health sort of thing. So like a protein and a longevity and all this different stuff. And I was like, okay, the person who is the person for this, and there's a bunch of people, but this is the main person who started it. I was like, okay, cool. I'm interested. I'll take a look. And I did. And then I saw more and I saw testimonials. There's all these other pretty famous people associated with it. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll give it a shot. There was like a protein powder thing. And, you've done this before. So you get the first one. And with the bonus kit, you can get the container and the whatever. Mm-hmm. And then there was a pill, which was the longevity, like for health and longevity and all that stuff. So there was the protein thingy. I think I can't remember anymore what it is. So I go to order it, and you can get it together, and there's a package, and it's not working. And I'm like, the fuck? Like, I just want to buy this. Like, why is it not working? So then I was like, okay, don't do the package, do it individually. Well, that didn't work. And the reason the package didn't work because one of the items they're sold out of.
Oh.
Now, when I tell you I cannot go on my Facebook or Instagram and their ad doesn't come back, I'm not exaggerating. Like every single day it's on multiple times. If I scroll through my Facebook to just kind of see who's there that I should at least pay attention to, it's going to come up once or twice. I emailed them. They're still out of this longevity thing. If they keep doing this, there's not going to be any longevity left if I take it. Like it won't even help anymore. So point number one, I'm actually looking at getting my health on track. Number one. Number two, how can you be out of this product? And number three, to the point that we've spoken about, like if you don't have that kind of money to market your product, it's really, really hard to make it in this e-com world that we live in. And I mean, I'm nobody, right? But it's hitting my feed because I hit them once. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, this is probably like a week or 10 days ago. So think about that. Every single day, I'm not on Facebook all the time. I go on once or twice a day. I check things and I get out. And it's hitting me. So they are paying for these ads. Whatever that per penny they're paying, it's me and millions of other people that's unbelievable. That's unbelievable amount of money that what their budget must be per month in advertising. Like it's just wow. And
God bless them.
yeah, goddamn, yeah, I'm probably gonna just buy the protein and just get started. And like, they emailed me. I mean, they did. I will say the customer service not as good as our customer service,
As mine, yes.
as our customer service, because our customer service person is right there live. Okay, so now you want to know who it is? It's right there. That's
Me.
when you reach out to customer service and have some fun today. That person is there, and she has been trained to make sure that you have
I
fun
am
today.
on it.
She has been thoroughly trained.
I will turn those people around.
She will. She is very good at like, oh, you gave us a bad review. Let's talk about it. And she has flipped. I have to say, she has flipped more people. They almost are embarrassed afterwards that they gave a bad review.
I have had them apologize to
I
me
think that's
several
just
times.
so good. I mean, that is if that is not the definition of Catholic guilt, I don't know what is. So anyway, so I'm going to switch the order around based on that. So anyway, on to this week's episode. First of all, thank you everybody that's joining, and for those of you who've been sending us comments and notes. It's really sweet. Like I really, honestly, I mean, I was hopeful that we would get like 3 or 4 people to watch, and the fact that we're up to like 7 right now is just like amazing. And we are grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you. And the comments are really sweet, and it's really really nice. So thank you. We do appreciate it. So on to this week's topics, and for those of you who are here first time, welcome. We love you just as much. Okay, maybe a little bit less because we have to love those people more because they've been loyal followers. But you'll catch up. Don't worry. We're going to do our topics of the week, and then we'll close out with rapid fire, which is always an experience. So, starting off this week, the topic we've come up with is evolving, and whether that's in business or in life, what does that mean? And what happens if you don't evolve? Like, are you the dinosaur and you kind of fade away? I mean, this is something that we've talked about, and interestingly, actually, it's funny. It's funny because we didn't pick this topic. Like, this isn't. It's not like we pick these things months in advance. Just by the way, we kind of. So we picked them. Let's just say picked them in advance of going live. Okay, how much in advance before live? That's a subject for another day. But we do them but not long in advance, and by design, so that we don't have all this time to prepare. And this, it's more like kind of it triggers little things that brings back memories. And even though when we did this, it didn't click, but now that we're talking about it on the show, I literally was just talking about dinosaurs. I think it was yesterday on a call that I had with somebody, and it reminded
Mhm.
me of an earlier deck that we had for Village, and we literally had a dinosaur in the slide, like on the upper slide, this dinosaur, and with the subliminal message of that the dinosaurs are still running the industry, but they're going to go away like dinosaurs. And it was really a poke a little bit at them, and
Mhm.
kind of like it was cool. I thought it wasn't my idea. It was one of the guys that was working with on that version of the deck did it, and I was like, this is super cool. I can't tell you how much pushback we got on it. We eventually took it away. Like
Hmm.
people were like, we get it. But if the investor who is potentially a dinosaur sees that, they may kind of be offended and they may not like it. It's maybe you may want to tap the brake on that one and come up with it in a different way, which is interesting. So, but to that point, I think that that is a reality, right? Like I think that if you don't evolve, you do become like dinosaurs
Yeah.
in everything. So I know this is a topic we've had. I mean, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on it.
Yeah, no, I mean, the reason why I thought that was such a relevant topic is because I've been around like a family business, other family businesses, and there's just been a lot of discussion, when you go to that next generation of a family business and you look at how a business is run and you see that they're kind of still doing the things that they did a generation ago in this ever changing world. And I just really don't believe that you can stay relevant if you aren't evolving, with things that are happening. I know in my business with Have Some Fun Today, like things started one way 11 years ago, and today that is so not the way things are done. And if you're going to insist on doing things the way you did it originally, you can just say goodbye to your business. So I just think it's fascinating how many people don't don't understand that and resist modernizing their technology, their techniques, their way of looking at things. I'm just a big believer in constantly evolving, even personally, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to like stuff like you're mentioning as an example, let's say a personal, a family business, it's a little tricky, right? It's hard for people to change because it's very insular. So, that's what they're used to. So even though they may hear about something, they're like, well, that's the way other people do this. But we have survived because we are this way and we do. So there's like this, on the one hand, they're opposed to change because they feel that's what makes them unique and special. And these
Mm-hmm.
other guys are picking up on a trend or some other whatever. On the other hand, they don't necessarily know how to do it, right? They don't know what change is because if you don't leave your room, you don't know what's out there. You don't know how another business is doing things. I mean, I think we've talked about it in the past, and I've said it in any business I've ever worked on, and we talk about growth, and we talk about future, and we talk about like, putting our team together, and we're like, for an example, like we'll talk about like, oh, well, there's going to be an internal marketing person, there's going to be an internal PR person, but then there's be a line item on the budget that's like for an agency. And people would be like, well, why? I don't understand. Like, if you hire an internal PR person for whatever the business is, why do you also hire a PR agency? I was like, because my internal PR person is internal. So, yes, it's their job to look at what's going on in the world. And yes, it's their job to stay in touch with all the different, vehicles and places and avenues. But someone who's outside of our office or outside of our company, they're dealing with 20, 35 different clients that have different
Mm-hmm.
needs, different things are happening that they've got to be sharper. So they're going to give
Mm-hmm.
us ideas and they're going to have access that no matter how good we are, we're not going to have access to. Because
Right.
I can have the greatest PR person, but if let's say the director of sales pissed off somebody at some magazine, but that's the end. That's it. That's it. I can't break through with my internal PR person. The external PR person can kind of play the game because they're giving them another client. They're doing other stuff. So, that I think businesses that have that mentality can evolve because they're constantly learning and they're looking to learn and they're looking to grow. And I think the ones that think they have it all figured out, dinosaurs.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching the last part of Yellowstone a couple weeks ago, and there was a line in that in one of the episodes, and they were talking about John Deere wagons. So I guess before they had the John Deere tractors, before there was mechanical engines, there was horse and buggy, and they were making these wagons, and they were that's what they originally made
Oh wow, I
as
didn't
a
know that. That's interesting.
company.
Yeah.
And as the car, the engine was invented, whoever was running that company said,
Yeah.
hey,
Wow, yeah.
we gotta do
Evolve. We
this.
got to evolve.
So they would have been extinct,
Yeah. Yeah.
but they went into making tractors, and that was such an interesting example. But something as simple as a company out, not in a big city, but a company out in the suburbs, and let's say they've resisted something as simple as LinkedIn and how you navigate, as a company being on LinkedIn. Whether there's posting, it's not just like existing and having your name on there, but it's actually, working it, connecting with other businesses, reaching out. And that is, a technology that, came up in the past 10, 15 years. I mean, you would probably know better than me how long LinkedIn's been around, but, like you have to kind of expose yourself as a company to the things that other companies are utilizing. And if you're just going to resist it, you're going to you're just going to fall behind
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not be part of what's happening.
Yeah. I think it's with anything. It's with anything, right? So LinkedIn's like a good example, and yeah, I do remember when LinkedIn first came around, and I do remember. Actually, I remember clear as day. We were on a shoot. I mean, it's random. We're on a shoot, and there was a Wall Street at a hotel, and there was Wall Street Journal there, which I don't traditionally read, and it was there, and I was sitting around whatever in between something, and so I opened it up, and there's an article about LinkedIn. I remember
Hmm.
telling everybody on set, I'm like, this thing's going to be huge, and they were like, we don't need that. We're creatives. I was like, okay, sure, it's LinkedIn is one certainly a very good example for sure, but it's literally from a business perspective, and I think it's important to talk about a personal perspective too, because we certainly deal with a lot of that in our existence, both
Hmm.
creative worlds, business worlds, and personal lives. But I think evolving is it's across the board. It isn't just like, okay, I'm going to evolve in my marketing, but I'm not going to involve in my HR, or I'm not going to evolve in how I use fuel or electricity. Like you have to evolve is everything. It isn't just
Yeah.
one thing. Like I'm going to really improve the lighting in the office, but I'm not going to improve the pay structure, or I'm not. It's everything. And I think if you don't grow, you go backwards. Like
Yeah.
you almost
Hmm.
like it's just. I just think it's that simple. I know it's not a simple thing to do. And again, I'm not saying you have to do it every 10 minutes. Like you don't have to get a new computer every 6 months, and you don't have to get new clothes every season. Like no, you don't have to evolve in a business. We're going to change our logo every 2 years. Like I'm not saying that, but you do have to evolve. Beyond in different capacities, which actually
Yeah.
reminds
No.
me about something even related but unrelated here. But yeah, continue on.
Well, I was just going to say, like, another example is like with me with Have Some Fun Today. I started out back in 2014, and, back then you could make a lot of traction on social media. Facebook, primarily was what I was working on back then with it. And then we got the Instagram. And, you could just have really beautiful photography. And that was enough. But as TikTok became a thing and video content became something that people craved and kept people like interested longer, you now have to do video. And that is an evolution, and if you don't do it and you just stick with your photo format, you know, goodbye basically. You're not going to stick around. At least you're not going to be growing your account whatsoever on social media.
Yeah, well, I'm lucky that we have this thing because that gives me the video, and I don't have to do videos myself. So, but yeah, no, I feel you. I feel you. But it's an interesting thing because, like, I don't know if you heard about this whole Cracker Barrel thing, and I don't know where it's at right now. I heard they might actually go back to the. I don't know if you heard this, but that they changed their logo, and people are furious.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Apparently, they were changing their logo. I don't know
I
where it
have been
landed.
to a Cracker Barrel.
Have you what?
I have been to a Cracker
I
Barrel.
think I have somewhere in my life, like just driving, like when we used to have to drive up and
Yeah,
down.
you do the Florida, New
Yeah,
York thing.
I
Yeah.
think I did, and I did a Waffle House once too. But apparently, they changed their logo to something more simple, cool, like what today is, and people did not like it. And apparently, they're changing the design of the stores. And people did not like it, and there was getting a lot of pushback. And then I heard they might be thinking about changing it back. So
Oh
it's
wow.
interesting. Like on the one hand, like here's a business that didn't evolve, and now it did, and then it got backlash. It's like it's a weird dynamic. But in general, certainly from a business perspective, I mean, 100%.
Hmm.
If you don't evolve, someone is going to pass you by. Someone else is going to come up. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how good you are. I mean, you can look at Intel and Nvidia. There was no touching Intel years ago. Like there was
Hmm.
no touching them. Nothing. Nobody. I mean, AMD came around and it was like, I'm not getting an AMD computer. That was a cheap. Like nobody. AMD has certainly gotten a lot better.
Hmm.
But I mean, Intel's. I mean, they're just not the same. Like they're not what they were, and they did not evolve. They did not. They rested on their laurels. Didn't work out very well for them. So
It's the resting on your laurels that is dangerous.
100%. But what do you,
Very
how do you feel that is with a what's the difference on a personal side from the business side?
well. I think evolving as a human, I think that that is essential. If you are a human who is not evolving as you get older and gain more wisdom, I mean,
How do you do it though? Like, how does the average person do it?
how do you evolve?
Yeah.
Um, by being in the world, seeing, being someone who is, conscious of things that are happening and able to make determinations of doing certain things helps a person maintain their physical health, maintain their mental health. I mean, it's just being a person who's observant of structures and ways of improving your life.
I mean, do you think it's like checking yourself to being like, because like we have routines too, right? And do you think part of evolving is experimenting and like trying, I don't know,
Yeah,
a new food, or if you
absolutely.
walk to work, like taking another way, like walking a different way, or taking like, do you think that's part of like how you evolve because you get to have new experiences?
I mean, I guess I don't really even think about it that much because as a person, I kind of naturally am always kind of looking to see how I could improve things about myself.
Hmm.
I'm just that kind of person. I don't
You are.
really know what that is,
Yeah.
but I'm 60 now. I want to be healthy. I want to be have good energy. I want to sleep. So, there obviously you have to look into the ways of doing that. And as you do the research or you read about it or you hear about it, you try it. And that is the process of of evolving.
Mm.
Even me going to therapy, I behaved a certain way 20 years ago. I've been through a lot of experiences. I've sought out expert advice. Hence, as a person, I have evolved and hopefully improved my skills to communicate.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. I mean, look, I think therapy, physical, mental, whatever, is certainly a way to evolve, right? Because you're going to learn something from somebody or from something that you're doing that is not necessarily your regular routine. Right? It's the same thing with working out, right? Like if you work out and you just do the same exercises every single day, you don't try throw in a new exercise, throw in a new thing, your body is not really going to evolve, right? Your body is going to kind of you're going to stabilize, you could maintain it, but you're not necessarily get better.
Yeah, and I guess I mean I used to work with trainers a lot. I was very blessed to be able to do that. And one of the things that is a given with, training your body is changing up what you're throwing at your body, changing the exercises to, spark a different, synopsis in your muscles.
Right.
And, that's kind of the same thing that applies to everything. To me, everything is integrated. And so if you're a person who wants to always grow and learn, that by definition is evolving.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, I think, yeah, well, I think it kind of leads us a little bit into another topic, which is putting yourself out there. And I think that's part of evolve. It's part of evolving, right? Like if you only hang out with the same people all the time, it's hard to kind of evolve, right? Like you do the same things, you go to the same places, you have the same habits, you have the same stuff. But if you are putting yourself out there and you're like, well, I'm going to explore. I'm going to go to this new place. I'm going to go to this new event. I'm going to go to a networking event that I didn't usually go to. I'm going to go meet these people that I don't know, but someone said we should go there, or friends of friends and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's part of evolving. And the next thing we wanted to kind of talk about was what it's like to put yourself out there and what that means in the world of social media. So, I mean, we were talking about it a little bit that there's putting yourself out there literally, like I
Mhm.
said, going to an event, going to a
Mhm.
show, going to a restaurant, going to wherever, and then there's putting yourself out there in the social media world, which is connected but different. Like it's certainly a
Yeah.
very different thing.
Yeah.
And just kind of wanted to touch a little bit about like how you see that and how you, because that's been a big part of it's a big part of your career which
Hmm.
becomes a part of our life. And that's kind of
Yeah.
the core of like the whole reason we're even doing this is explaining or maybe shedding light on what it's like to have your life creatively, personally interact with each other, which is what our lives are. Like our lives are just totally interconnected, which is beautiful and amazing and wonderful. But it's a thing. Like it's a thing of you have to create content, right? You have to do certain things. There's certain opportunities that come up. You're like, I have to do this. We could be doing something that's personal,
Hmm.
but that happens and we have to shift or adjust to that, which is part of the journey because we're trying to help grow and do things.
Yeah. No, it's something I finally have accepted. And I mean, that's why I kind of like was thinking that, for people to really understand what it takes for a single entrepreneur to make a mark in today's world, you have to put yourself out there and you have to be willing to look stupid, to feel uncomfortable, and to be okay with what your neighbor is saying about you because you're doing this thing. And for a long time, I think I was just doing my thing with Have Some Fun Today. I was putting it out there. I was working really hard. And I kind of ran up against, frankly, a lot of women more than men, um, having talking behind my back about it. And it really, I couldn't stop because I have invested so much in my brand that I just had to deal with it, and it was hard. And I'm over it now because, I've come to the realization that if I want to do this, I have to really be okay with putting myself out there. And the way that people today are, making great livings, these people who are content creators. Now, I'm not a content creator. I'm a founder, and I am an entrepreneur, and I'm an artist. So I have to make content for the things that I do, but I'm not here making content for other people. It's the difference for me. And, I've just had to come to terms with this is part of my job. And if I want to do this, I got to not really care what Susie is saying about me, or, Karen, or whoever the people are that, I think for a while people thought that if they just talked about people who did that stuff, then those people who were doing that stuff would stop. And then the people who were talking about them can, I guess, worry about something else. But the reality is, this is not going away. If anything, we're seeing like movie companies wanting to do these like short films in this format. Like, it's not going anywhere. People want to be entertained, and they want to be entertained by watching people do TikToks and videos and sharing their every moment. And so you just have to accept that that's where this is going, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, I could go on that topic for a long time. I'm going to stay away from that for the time being, as far as where it's going and all that. But I do agree. There's very few businesses um, that can afford to make it without putting themselves out there. I think there
Yeah.
was maybe a time that you could do that. You know, our grandparents' time or whatever, or great grandparents, whatever. But that ship has sailed. And if
Yeah.
you don't put yourself out there, there's just a limit to how much you can survive. I don't care what, if you're a flower shop, if you're a bagel store, if you're a clothing company, if you're online, if you're brick and mortar, if you're a consulting service, like you have to put yourself out there. I think people want to know that you're established, whatever that means. You can be brand new. I mean, you can be like, I worked for Deloitte for X amount of years, and now I started my own consulting agency. That's fine. You have to tell that story, and you tell that story. That's putting yourself out there. You can't just
Mm-hmm.
expect that. Oh, I'm just going to create a website and everybody's going to find me. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's just not what it is. And again, I think it is. I think certainly post COVID, which I guess puts us pre whatever the next thing is going to be. It's changed that you really have to go back to both. I think all online is not sufficient and all
Hmm.
offline is not sufficient. I think finding
Hmm.
the right balance for whatever your personal or business brand is the
Hmm.
key, and it's a different balance for everybody. But
Yeah.
I think they're very important. I think and honestly, there's a little bit separate topic which we're not going to touch right now, but sometimes just going to an event or sometimes just going to a place is enough because not everybody is comfortable enough or social enough, whatever, to be able to totally interact and be like, "Hey, I'm so and so," and "Hey, let me give you my card," and blah blah blah. Sometimes just being there, just immersing yourself in it, getting the energy that comes from it. Somebody does see you. Somebody might remember you at the next thing you go to, and then maybe that's when you'll feel more comfortable, or they'll feel more comfortable, whatever it is. But I think it's critically important to find what works for you, and maybe it's you got to go with a friend because you're nervous or because you're shy or because you're just that kind of person that you feel more comfortable when there's somebody around you to help make the introduction, a wingman, wingwoman, whatever. But I do agree. I think it's important. But I guess the key is finding what that means because I think it has to be authentic.
Oh yeah,
I
for
think,
sure.
right? I mean, I think you've seen it. Like, there's people that are doing what you're doing, but they're not authentic, and people see right through it. What you do, which I think you do a really great job, and I've been through this journey with you where people were saying, "Well, Steph's got to do more. People want to see more Steph. And we got to do more Steph, and we got to do more. Steph's got to do more videos." And you were like, baby, I don't want to do videos. Like, I don't want to do videos. Like, I'll shoot videos, but I'm not the video person. And this has been years of kind of where you kind of were like, you know what?
I was fighting
Yeah, you're
it.
just you're just you, but you went in and you went and did it. And listen, I can tell you, boys and girls, that when Steph's doing them, I have to. I'm going to say this delicately and nicely, but accurately. I don't
Yeah.
run. I don't have to like run. Like, okay, I better leave the house. God, I'm not saying it like that, but I have to respect the space that she's in because I know she's a little uncomfortable. Understandably, she's not that kind of person to be like, look at me and check me out. So it's just a nervousness is not the right word, but she's a little. I have to let her be in her space, so I have to be very conscious of it that she's doing that right now. I'm going to go to the other. I'm going to go to the other room, or I'm going to go to the other side of the house, whatever, so that she can stay within that space, so that she can be comfortable enough to be her best self and to come across. But the reality is, the brand, granted, inspired by your dad's statement and mission, it exists because of the authenticity, and the authenticity is you. And that does come through when you create content. That's just a fact. It's not that it doesn't when we do a photo shoot or when we have a model or when we have, user generated content from like a fan or customer. It comes through there too. But
Hmm.
anybody that I tell the story to, anybody. I mean, a guy I spoke to yesterday, I told him the story, and he was semi pitching me on a service that he had. He bought a sweatshirt and a hat while we were on the call.
Oh, you know what? I was going to ask you
Yeah,
about
so he
that.
bought a sweatshirt and a hat while we were on the call, which was amazing. And
Yeah,
he
that's
just called
cool.
me salesman of the day. Thank you, thank you.
All right, you get a commission on that.
Yeah, that's great. Maybe I can afford that, Mr. Softy, before he
Yeah, you can get your Mr. Softy.
yeah. So, but he didn't. I mean, yes, he liked what he purchased, obviously, but he was like, I really like that story. He's like, I really liked that meaning. So I think that is what we all have to think about if we're gonna do it. I mean, some people just love putting themselves out there, just like some people just love taking their clothes off in public. That's fine. But if you're gonna put yourself out there and you're not that comfortable, it's really important that whatever it is you're talking about, it's something you really care about. It's something that you really mean and you really feel. So that when somebody sees it and watches it or reads it, it resonates. It's not going to resonate if it's phony. It's not going to resonate if you're just putting on a show. It's just not. It just isn't. I think that's where we have to find that balance because people just be like, oh, I got to do videos. I'm like, yeah, but if they're not authentic, like who's no, then don't. Then don't. Wait
Yeah.
till you find your voice. So um,
Well, I think it's been a real transition. I mean, you think about because, I've spoken with other brand founders who kind of started when I did, and we would commiserate, maybe 5, 6 years ago, like, oh God, now I have to learn how to make videos. And we would like talk about it, like, I don't want to make a video of myself. And we struggled with it, but the bottom line is, if that is the industry you want to be in and you believe in your company or whatever it is, it's very important to figure out how you're going to entertain people with talking about your brand. That's what it is. It's basically, people are watching these videos and they are enthralled, or they're horrified, or they think it's funny, whatever it is, but it's got to affect them in some way. I mean, a lot of times you're horrified, but
Well, I don't think horrified turns into sales unless it's a horror movie. Like
well,
I don't think
yeah, and
like a fruit stand doesn't want to do a video that's horrifying. You know?
no, no, no. And I don't mean you're horrified for a brand. I mean, some of the video content that is out there is
Horrifying.
horrific.
It's horrifying.
That, I mean, I had a hard time going on TikTok for the first year at least, like, because I just went on there, and like, if you have never been on there before, you get fed like the craziest stuff. And until it took a really long time. I mean, you would hear me. I would like put it on for 2 minutes and then I'd have to turn it off.
Darling, I hear you now, and you apologize almost every time. Like almost every time you put the tickety talk on, you apologize.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel you. I
a
feel
thing.
you.
It's a thing.
Yeah, actually, it's interesting, right? Wasn't it 6 months and then 6 months and then six more
Oh,
months,
that thing's,
six more
I mean,
months, and
that
then
thing's not going to get turned off. And
it's for sale. It's
whatever
not for
you've been
sale.
doing,
We're gonna buy it. We're gonna make it illegal. We're gonna not. I mean, like, okay, like,
I
okay.
mean, the next thing is probably going to be like, we feel like we're in a room with these people, because now it's already, first I went to pictures and videos, and the next thing is going to be what, Web 3, like where we are
No, we're moving on.
in
We're
the
past Web 3.
space.
We're going to Web 4.
Oh, Web 4. Okay, wow.
That's
Yeah.
another. That's more of a deeper tech topic.
Let's see what else. What other skill I have to learn? How to zoom myself into another.
Well, no, we'll go straight into holograms and
Yeah.
we'll do some cool shit. I mean, some of the stuff that's coming is going to be fucking amazing. I mean, I can't. I can't. I'm looking forward to it, but whatever. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So, in that vein of like putting yourself out there, it's kind of come up. I mean, not with us, luckily, thank goodness, you and I.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank goodness. But it has come up quite a bit in different conversations we've had with people about connecting and dating, like today, like as
Yeah.
opposed to
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
And it's not it's cross generational, right? It isn't just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you know over the history of time, right? Like there's, the kids, when you're a kid, you don't know how to ask a girl out on a date, or a girl doesn't, whatever it is, the girl asking the guys, whatever. And then you get a little bit older and then you do it a couple of times, then you learn or whatever. There are people in their, teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever, that are,
70s even.
that
I
are
know some in their 70s that are having a hard time.
yeah, and that are now in whatever the market, I guess we would call it, or looking to date, and they don't, they kind of don't know what to do, where to go. And it's actually, I don't call anybody out, so I might use names, but I had coffee the other day with an old friend, client-ish. Wasn't really a regular client, but some once in a while client of mine back in the tennis days that was in New York. And we had a coffee, and he became a coach, not a tennis coach, but like a business coach. And now he's a speaker, and he is a stylist. Like he's not like huge, but he's doing well-ish, and he's growing, whatever it is. And he's not married. Doesn't have anybody. I think he was with someone serious for a while, and something happened, didn't work out. And he's definitely dating. Like he's definitely
Mhm.
looking to date. And he was like, he's not from here. He lives in Denver. He's from Denver, and he lives in Denver. He's from Denver. And he was like, man, he's like, he went to like, he was in California at one point. He's like, coming to New York. He's like, man, the women. And I was like, yeah, I know. And he's like, on the dating apps. And I'm like, I think, which one are you on? And he's like, I'm on Hinge. And he's like, it's insane. He's like, the girls are just unbelievable. He's like, it's one after the other after the other. He's like, I don't even know what to do. And I was like, and I think he's a good looking guy. And, he's a former athlete. I mean, he's not super tall, but he's tall. He's a good looking guy. I mean, he's not, you would think. And here he
Mhm.
is. He's a speaker, right? So he's confident. He's putting himself out there. And it was very, very, very interesting. He's telling me like the difference between like girls in like Denver and here. So he
What's the
put
difference?
so wait, so I mean, I could go on for hours. I'm going to keep this reasonably short. But so one of the things he says that he likes to do, okay, is either have a coffee or take a walk. Like that's what he
Mhm.
wants to do when he first meets the girl. That's what
Okay.
he wants to do.
That's
And this
cool.
girl in New York, like I guess who he messed with, whatever, she called him out like there's no tomorrow. She's like, you better up your game. She's like, you're in New York. If you think you're not going to take me out to dinner, you're out of your mind. It's like coffee.
Oh,
It's like
wow.
coffee. It's like, I'm not meeting you for coffee. You're going to take me to a nice restaurant and then we'll get to know each other. And it's not like I'm going to sleep with you or not sleep with you. That's not even she may,
Oh,
she may
yeah.
not. It's very
Mhm.
possible she will, very possible she won't. That's not the
Mhm.
point. Not even a discussion. And he's like, so on the one hand, like I admired that. He's like, on the other hand, he's like, I'm not just taking some random girl that I don't know. It's like, I want to get to know you. Like, let's take a walk. Like, and I was like, well, it's like in Denver, it's not a problem. I was like, you're not in Denver. Like, that's
You're not
not going to
you're not in
fly.
Kansas
That
anymore.
is not going to fly in New York fucking city. Like, it's just not going to happen. So
I mean, maybe if the girl lived here and the guy lived here, maybe that could happen. But he lives in Denver. He's here. Like, yeah, she probably wants to get a dinner or not go out for a coffee with a guy she may never see again.
I think that I've heard that before. Like like a New York girl for the most part,
Hmm.
they're no. They want like we're going to a show, we're going to dinner, we're going to an event, we're going they want to know that you're putting in some effort. They want to know you're because that you're on an interview. I mean,
Yeah,
it's that simple. I mean, you can call it whatever you want to call it. You can call it a date, but it's an interview.
yeah,
They want to know, am I gonna spend more time? And again, if you talk about like a place like New York or LA or Miami or Chicago, where there's a lot of options. I mean, let's be realistic. I'm not poo-pooing any other places. There's a lot of options all over the world. I get
hmm,
that, but it's a different environment. It's more these bigger cities like this by nature are competitive, like just in
yeah,
everything. They're competitive in business, so therefore they're competitive in dating. So there's options. Like it's not about a good-looking, rich, poor. No, no. It's just if you're looking to date, whatever it is you're looking to date, there is competition. Like there just is. So that's what it is. I mean, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying it's a
hmm.
fact. But he was just like it was really funny. It was really funny. But
I'll be curious to hear if he goes on any dates
well, I
over the
said
next.
to him because he was going out to the open, and I was like, what are you doing after? He's like, I'm going to sleep. He's like, I can't. I'm leaving tomorrow. I can't do this anymore.
Oh,
And I
okay.
was like, all right, fair enough. But like I said, this guy is like, I think he's like 50, 51, 50. He's like early 50s. And he's like, he would like to meet somebody. He would like to meet his one. He would like to meet that person. And I
Mhm.
think it's very different now. I think it's I mean,
Very
every
different.
generation says that. I mean,
Yeah.
so I get that. But I think, the apps have made a difference. It's just what it is.
I mean, did you? I mean, I when I was single, I went on apps a couple of times, and I actually never. I mean, I went on a lot of dates, but I never ended up dating anybody through one of those matches. I'm more of a person who really, pretty much every relationship was more organic and just fluky, and it's interesting because there are women that I'm friends with here in Pennsylvania, and they will confide in me, like they're like, Steph, I'm alone and I don't know how to meet someone. And these are like cool women who've got really cool style, who are smart, who are successful. Yeah, I mean, granted, why I'm missing is not like a booming metropolis, but I mean,
I'm not. I'm
much
not
worse,
laughing.
there are much worse places, in this country,
There are.
and
There are.
I just find it interesting that it's so hard to get people to be in a place where they can feel, able to meet people. And I think one of the problems that I think is that in this town, there aren't enough places to go that don't involve just drinking. Like there are the bars, and that's primarily where I feel like people go to socialize.
But that's back to the evolve thing.
I know. So that's not necessarily the best place to meet someone that you might want to be in a
But the
relationship when
town
you're
doesn't
an
want to
older
evolve,
person.
right? The town doesn't want to evolve, and the town doesn't evolve because the people won't evolve. It's like it becomes cyclical.
Yeah, I mean, like in New York, you can go to an art opening, and I think you can meet people at art openings. It's kind of a free for all, and you can be both standing in front of a painting and not know the person next to you, and just, oh, I like this painting, and then you're striking up a conversation.
Babe, you
Like,
get hit
how
on every art opening we go to. You get hit on every single one without fail, and you don't notice it half the time. And
oh no.
you don't notice it at all, and you're not flirting, but you're being yourself. They think you're flirting, and I'm like, hey, how's it going? He's like, good. He's like, step off, and I'm like, step off. You like your testicles where they are, so but to your point, you're right because we've been to art openings in Berks County, and they're not the same. In New
No,
York, in LA, in Miami, in Chicago, in San Francisco, in certain places,
there's energy.
there's an energy.
There's
So even
energy.
if you're not going there to meet a girl or a guy or whatever, there is an energy to being happy to be in this place, to explore, to so
Yeah, I mean, they're so fun, and it's like it's about like culture. And so I feel like culture is one of the things that is essential for creating the kind of energy that puts people at ease and makes people want to like look around and say, this is great. Do you think this is cool? Whether it's music, whether it's
yeah.
art, but just going to the local bar where basically the same guys are sitting at the bar that are there every night practically. And I just don't think that's the most ideal place to meet someone, especially when you're a little bit older.
Well, I think that's why a lot of people in these little towns they meet someone early and they're like, okay, that's it. Like there's
Yeah.
not there. Whereas in New York or some of these other cities, people might wait a little bit because but there are options. Like I'm not saying this person I'm with at 24, 27, or 33 is not the right one, but I don't have to rush because they might not be. And yeah, it's an interesting thing. But I mean, I guess it comes down to how do these people eventually navigate this? Like how do they connect and date and whatever? And yeah, it's interesting. I think there's probably going to be, and this will evolve too. I think the app thing is not going away, and I think there's a lot of positives to that. I think people are
Mhm.
some are a little shy, maybe a little nervous. You can start a conversation without that hi, how are you doing? Like, you want to drink? Like, you not know what to say. Kind of awkward shit that people, and you see it. We've seen it when we're out. We can look at people and say they're clearly on a first date or whatever, and it's cute and it's nice. But I think there's probably going to be more curated dating connecting events, like not just
Yeah,
events
I
for
think
business.
there's a need for that.
Yeah, I
I
think I've
do.
heard of more of those, like these little get-togethers of like 20 people, 50 people that are all kind of looking or open, not speed dating,
Mhm.
not having just like a connecting of people that are open to relationships or open to different things where it's not business, it's not about art, it's not about anything. It's about like just getting together, like-mindedness, and maybe you make a friendship and maybe you meet your person. Like, it's
Yeah.
I think there's going to be more of that. And then you can always go to the app, right? You can always connect afterwards and way to share pictures and share stories and message each other. Like you can do all that stuff too. But I think there'll be that little balance. I
I
think.
mean, some of the tips that I've given people, because I feel like I've talked to so many people, like people my daughter's age and people like literally my mother's age. And, the way I always looked at dating when I was doing it is not so much like, oh, I need to find someone. I looked at it more like, I'm going to meet a friend. Because I know a lot of people get, like, there was a young girl, she's like my daughter's age, and she was on TikTok and I follow her and I know her personally. And it's just so cute. She's talking about dating and how demoralizing it is and all the rejection. And I had a comment to her because it seemed so obvious to me. Look at it instead of a possible future husband, look at it as a friend. You're making friends, and that's basically what it is. Like, because that is the way to find a relationship. You want to actually like the person.
It
You
definitely
want to like
helps.
them. What?
It definitely helps.
Yeah, like you want them to be your friend. And if you start from that like viewpoint, it kind of diffuses all the nervousness, and I don't know, I just think it makes the energy is more relaxed and you can just be
Yeah.
yourself. And that's the goal, in my opinion.
It all wraps
Um,
back around to evolving, right? It all wraps back to, people are used to doing things a certain way, and then this is where they end up. So if they change things up and they evolve a little bit and they learn a new skill or learn a new, whether it's a new app, a new skill, a new technique, a new something, that's evolving, that's evolution, and that can help with dating and everything else.
yeah, yep. It's all about connecting. And I think people feel lonely because they don't feel connected.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that's fair. Yeah.
yeah, think about that.
Okay, I will think about that. And I think it's now time for rapid fire. Yay, my favorite. Um, Alrighty then. Do you want me to go first? I'll ask you.
Sure.
I'll ask you first.
Okay.
Okay. Airplane seat, window, middle, or aisle?
I'm an aisle. I'm an aisle girl.
Um,
I don't like to be trapped in that. I don't like to be trapped.
Period. Yeah.
No, I don't
You
like to.
don't like to be claustrophobicized.
No, no.
That's an inside joke, kids. We don't know you well enough for us to tell you what claustrophobicizing is. Uh, uh, Morning person or night owl?
Morning person.
It's funny. I knew the answers to these questions.
I know.
Uh,
You don't know this one.
First thing you ever built or created?
I am going to go with the first time I used my imagination as a little child to build a hut in the woods with my friends. Like literally built it.
To smoke crack?
No, I was 10.
Meth?
No. No, we ate candy.
That's adorable. So
Yeah.
you
I was
built. So you first thing you built was a hut.
Yeah, and I remember pretending I was like the mom and sweeping the dirt floor in our like I don't even know where we got these walls, and it was like really in my head I was really building a home.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's what is that? Foretelling, foreshadowing,
foreshadowing.
foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next one would be the Barbie houses that we would spend days constructing in my mother's living room.
Okay.
So, yeah. Okay. So, Jay,
That's,
airplane seat, window, middle, or aisle?
so it depends. I like the window if it's like a longer enough flight because I can like lean against the like
Oh,
and I mean unless I'm talking about like on shorter flights. If it's like a longer flight and I can fly business or first whatever, then that changes it for sure.
yeah.
But I like these 3 hour or 4 hour flights or whatever. There's something about that. I don't like the being trapped part, but you hope you pray literally that you don't get smelly or uncomfortable people next to you. I like the aisle part so I can get out, but you really can't get out quickly. But when we fly together, I end up in the middle because I'm a nice person
You're a
and
gentleman.
you
Yeah.
like the aisle. So I'm not going to go on the other
It's
aisle because that way
danger.
you could be next to some weirdo. And so I suck it up and I take the middle. If it's in a three, I prefer a two,
Okay.
better, but a lot of these flights are threes. So
Yeah.
long
Okay.
answer, but truthful.
Okay. Morning person or night owl?
Both. And it's a fucking problem. It's a
I
fucking
think you're more of a night owl,
Yeah,
to be
so
honest.
it's a fucking problem. So it's not
Yeah.
actually true because if I get up late, I get very annoyed. I don't like it. I get very aggravated. And like I had a meeting this morning at nine
You seem
thirty.
aggravated right now
I
just
am
talking.
aggravated right now because I'm going to tell you a story. You're going to listen. So just buckle up. So I had a 9:30 meeting in Midtown today, and so when the guy that came in town and said, I want to get together," I said, "Great." He's like, "How's Thursday at 9:30?" And my response was, "AM?" question mark. I said AM, and he laughed. He's like, "That's the funniest thing I ever heard." Because I was like, 9:30 in the morning? Are you great? What are you on drugs? So anyway, so I did it. I had a really hard time I got to sleep 45 minutes later than I wanted to last night.
Okay.
I woke up every couple hours because I didn't want to oversleep. Ended up sleeping 15 minutes later than I was supposed to because of all the waking up at night. So, but I do really like getting up ahead of the day. Like I
Mhm.
really like that getting ahead of it. But
You go to bed so late every single night.
because there's always something, I've got stuff to do and I don't get to it and I have to stay up and I got to get it done. And you go
Mhm.
to sleep a bit earlier than I do. And I just, then I just have like that space to be like, it just happens. It's always been that. I've always been that way. I stayed up late when I was a child, like as a young
I
child.
stayed up later as a child than I do today.
Yeah, I have a really hard time going to sleep early, like early, early. Like if I have like a I've had like 6:30 flights. Oof, that's painful
Yeah.
because then I got to go
Yeah.
to bed like at 10. Ugh, I can't do that. It's like,
Yeah. Okay. Last question. First thing you ever built or created?
um, I mean, I did. I mean, of course, I did little stuff like that you talked about, like the hut thing. I don't really think of that as something like first thing I built. I'd say the first thing I built was uh, when I built that first thing. I was a baby, and I built that. I think I talked about this, that contraption to deliver the dry cleaning.
Yeah.
So like that shopping cart with the rack that I built with my super. I mean, I didn't couldn't do it totally by myself, but I'd say that's the first thing that I built. Like first,
Yeah. Okay.
I'd say that's probably the first thing I ever built. Like really, really,
So
like
using your imagination and your ingenuity to get something accomplished.
yeah, that's kind of what I did.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, I think that is a wrap, boys and girls. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Pickles and Pasta with Steph.
Jay.
Oh, and Jay. You were supposed to say. Never.
I
Anyway,
don't know.
we're gonna get better and or not, and we hope that we'll see you again sometime soon. Bye.
Bye. See ya.